Wow.
Did you guys see that?
I
That was
didn't know that.
so cool.
That was very 2020 meets double seven. I'm here.
Right. That was really cool.
Right.
I'm here for
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the link. As you see, we have a new countdown. We didn't know anything about it. It was a surprise from our producer. And so we get to experience it for the first time with you. Welcome to the link. This is a collaboration between Pyro Media and APLA Health with funding by the CDC. So thank you, CDC, for giving us money to do this. Welcome. Today is what is today's date? December 8th. It is Tuesday, and I am Kai, program coordinator for Healthy Cam. Hi. Everyone say hi.
it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Oh, I'm big. Okay, great.
Hi, everyone. I am Ty. I am your friendly linkage to care specialist, and welcome to the Ty Show.
Stop.
And I am Rogelio. I'm the prevention training specialist for Trans Connections.
Rogelio giggled and was like, "That." Rogelio was like, "That was cute, but the show's about me."
Rogelio had full face today.
Squad.
I mean, it is my category. It is my category tonight for the big girls. So it is a little bit about me.
Give us space. Give us glitter. Give us all of that.
Oh, this is just a bit of mascara and chapstick.
Come on, let's
get gay. We love the gays.
Can we give more dream girls, not glitter?
So as Riley alluded to, today's episode is called "Does Size Matter?" We're taking a look into, sex, as well as body image in the LGBTQ community. But before we do that, let's get to what's popping, what's happening in the world, what's going on with pop culture. I want to start really quick just because I'm already talking. But obviously, as we see the coronavirus from Miss Rona's running a little crazy right now in LA, so we are back in lockdown. So that means unless you are going out for essential supplies, there's no reason why you should be out in public. There's no reason you should be hanging out with anyone who is not in your household. And wear a mask and wash your hands, please, everyone. I'm sure if you have an iPhone, you got that safety alert today in LA. I know Ty and everyone else did because we're texting about it. We were talking about it. So
yes, you were.
I had my speaker on, so that thing was loud.
Yes, it's almost like an Amber Alert. It's just this loud, and it's just like, girl.
Deservingly so.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to know about Rona and its cases rising. So really quickly for what's popping. Speaking of Rona, I believe that a lot of things are being rushed way too quickly. Like with cities opening, there are cities that don't even have testing. Atlanta being one of them. I was speaking to my mom who lives in Philadelphia. There's no testing there. And I saw on Ticketmaster, don't ask me why I get emails from that. I used to go to concerts a lot. They are actually about to start planning their 2021 schedule for in-person concerts. And I'm like, it might be a little too soon for that. What do you guys think?
Yeah. The rollout is definitely going to take a while. Like the first round of people aren't expected to even get it till like well into the year. And it's not going to reach the general public for another 6 months after that. And even then, there's still a risk. So I don't know. People just need to start getting used to the fact that it's going to be a slow transition. And, the reason why things are so bad right now is because people want to rush back into normal life so badly.
Yeah. And I think
Trey
that
Songz
also
just had a concert for 500 people, and there were quite a few violations of COVID there. So, and we know Trey Songz 500 people is nothing as far as him trying to do like a regular concert. I definitely think that it's way too soon, and I think that we as a nation should understand and put health at the top of the priority list versus entertainment, because there are still so many virtual ways to be entertained. There have been artists all over IG, all over Facebook that have done virtual concerts with no problem. And even doing, selling tickets for these virtual concerts. Kiara Sheard and Molly Music, the gospel room, literally have one, I believe, happening this Friday. $25 a ticket, but it's a virtual concert. So there are things that we can do.
Right.
I am not rushing to go see anybody in person where
At
I
all.
don't know who's going to be sitting next to me. in the stadium.
Yeah.
I know. I know Eric, my partner got me for my birthday in May. He actually got me tickets to Hamilton, and then obviously with coronavirus, that was cut. But so they were like, "Oh, it's okay. You can just get a ticket for another show." I was like, "I don't want to go to another show. Give me my money back." Like it's not gonna happen. We don't do it by December. Like we'll lose the money for the tickets, but it's like, what am I supposed to see in LA if everything's shut down? And I'm not going anywhere at least until 2022. That's a personal thing.
No, I agree with you, and I also think that at the end of the day, specifically things with like Hamilton, and I've seen like Hamilton's on Disney Plus, so I'm more comfortable being at home, drinking my own liquor in my own confines of my safe space, watching these things with a good quality sound headphones on, like I'm at the concert. Kate Trinata did a virtual concert with Adult Swim on Cartoon Network 2 weeks ago. Amazing virtual concert, just being able to sit there with the headphones on and just, vibe out. I think that Ticketmaster, I know that the artists make their music, make their money based off of touring and stuff like that. So I get that portion of it. It's just, you want to make sure that everybody's safe first. I love Drake. I'm not going to go see Drake during a pandemic. Like, it's just not going to happen. Not at all. Not at all. It's not going to happen. Not for me.
Right. Well, and I think the ironic thing too, sorry. The ironic thing too is like, with Trey Songz is that like he literally had COVID, didn't he? And he made a big deal out of like, oh, take care of yourself. This is real. I got it. And then he's over here performing for a group of 500. But I think another conversation we have to have is also like the economic impact. And I think, the person responsible for the title of this segment was Poppin'. Cardi B recently made headlines because she she asked like on Twitter, like, should I buy this $88,000 bag? And everybody of course started dragging her, started talking about like, Cardi, we're in a pandemic. Why are you talking about purchasing something, the price of, some people's homes? I mean, maybe in like Alabama, but still like, like that's a lot of money for people, especially during a pandemic. So how do you guys feel about that? And this like insistence on a lot of celebrities to continue flaunting their wealth, because I feel like pandemic has kind of opened up a lot of those conversations, and people seem more tired of it than I've seen in the past.
I think that when you give into play like the fact that people are struggling to pay their rent right now, people are struggling to figure out food for their families. Unemployment has been unforgiving as opposed to assisting people who aren't employed. Small businesses haven't had enough money. All of these things in consideration, I don't want to hear about Cardi B's bags. It doesn't irritate me to a point where I'm like, oh, why would she? You know what I mean? Because she has the money to do so. So that's cool. But I guess if you are a fan of Cardi B's, it would be a conversation piece about the person that you are supporting. Do you want to see things like that? I mean, I think that stars do things like that when they're bored. It's kind of like, oh, should I buy this bag? Should I go on this trip? Should I buy this car?
Right.
And it's like that doesn't really apply to the vast majority of us. So I don't know. Most of the artists that not say that I don't support Cardi B, but I'm not the biggest Cardi B fan. Most of the artists that I support are very quiet in regards to their wealth, and I like that.
I feel a different kind of way about it. I think people need to listen to Jasmine Sullivan and come pick up their feelings and get out of their bag, because at the end of the day, this is how I feel about it. If she got $88,000 to spend on a bag, she got $88,000 to spend on her bag. And despite the fact that it's a pandemic, I think what it also shows is that you still have to live your life. Like, we can't be so caught up in this pandemic that it overtakes everything that we do, everything that we watch, and everything that we hear. And I feel like the same people who are saying, oh, well, she shouldn't be flaunting this or shouldn't be doing this, are the same people that were liking her posts and commenting on her page when she was showing off her ass, or when she was showing off her new breasts, or when she was showing off her new teeth, and when she was walking through with $100,000 gowns on. Like, if she has the money, that is her normal, that is her life, and that is what she's able to do. And I feel like specifically with Cardi B, she can't win either way. Like, when she was trying to have political conversations and trying to be serious, people were dragging her, saying she didn't have the right. She shouldn't be talking about that. It's not her thing. So now that she's staying in her lane and sharing and talking about what she lives on a daily basis, now it's a problem. So people need to go have a seat.
So see, before you go, Kai, let me disagree partially with that statement, Daniel. I love you. So here's the thing. I do agree that the fact that people are following the gowns and the whatnot she's wearing and all that other stuff. So haters are going to be haters regardless, right? I think that when you are dealing with something as serious as a pandemic, the best, and not even staying in your lane, like not talking about politics. Cardi B can talk about politics. That's fine to me. Cardi B can also talk about, purchasing bags and whatnot. It's a time and a place for everything, and I don't
But who
believe
gets to
that.
dictate that? But who gets to
No,
dictate? It's
well,
my
no,
page.
I think that
It's my page.
the general public gets to
I mean, it's your
dictate that.
page,
The
but it could
people who
also be
were
insensitive, and I think that that's what
But
people
I'm
were
absolutely
saying,
saying,
that like it's really
and
the
I
general
insensitive
understand that.
public gets to
to be
dictate
having
that.
that
They get to dictate
conversation.
that.
Because it's like,
And
if
I
you want to have
understand
that
that.
conversation
But
with your rich
if
friends and your
you
rich
if
group chats.
exactly,
Don't have it
and
on Twitter and then
if
complain
you are
about people
posting it
criticizing
on
you
your
on a public platform.
absolutely, if you are posting it on your social media and people are coming at you for a reason, then that's what it is. You should know that that post was insensitive. People can dictate that because she's posting it for her fans. So if her fans were offended by it, they are the people that will dictate whether or not it's offensive or not. And she knows that
So
as a star.
I understand that, and regardless of if she got offended by the comment, I mean, you know how I feel. You post anything on social media, it's up for grabs. It's
Right.
your opinions. My opinion
Right.
is to the people who are complaining. At the end of the day,
Okay.
I understand it can be seen as insensitive, but again, it's
Mm-hmm.
my page. Who gets to dictate what time and place that I get to talk about my life and what I'm doing with my money, even if I'm asking my fans a question about it?
Well,
Again,
it
completely
was it her
understand that
fans
it
that
can
got
be
offended?
insensitive,
Yeah.
but
So
It was
at
her
the end
fans
of the
that got
day, like,
offended.
what is she supposed to do?
so
Was it
here's
her
how
Come on,
fans that got
Kai.
offended?
Let's let Kai get a word in.
here's my
Oh,
view on
sorry.
no, it's okay. So I'm kind of on here. And as problematic as this might be, I think it's a bigger issue. This is bigger than Cardi B. This is hip hop, right? What is hip hop if not talking about how much money you have, how many bands you're spending, like what clothes and designer? This is part of kind of like the Black culture and the hip hop culture, which is really, really toxic. Because when you think about it, most of these people who listen to this music are never going to have the funds or the income to kind of afford these things. So I think what Cardi was doing is not outside of her character. It's not kind of something that we haven't seen elsewhere. I think when we look at context, I think this is what happened. Her fans are upset because a lot of them are struggling right now. And I saw one comment for someone who actually received money from Cardi for it was like a scholarship. And she was like, "Hi, Cardi, I just want to let you know that I'm thankful for you. You gave me a $500 scholarship to so-and-so, but I do think this is really, really insensitive because X, Y, and Z." And she really came as a fan, just trying to tell Cardi, like, this is why people are upset. And I think, like Daniel says, when you post something on social media, you have to expect it. For me, where I kind of get is when Cardi gets upset about it. People are going to be mad about it. And I think this is what she could have done. Not said anything. She could have
Right.
Period.
left it in.
Agreed.
She always chooses to engage with all the negativity and just ends up digging herself into a hole. And I think that's what's the problem too, because it's like you can say whatever you want on your platform. I think that's fine. And I think, the problem is like the specific time. The problem is that she also just had a COVID or a Thanksgiving COVID celebration with 28 people. And so it's coming off the heels of that people are just like, so you continue to do things that are insensitive during this time of a pandemic. But beyond that, I think that you also have to, it goes both ways. Like, yeah, she could post whatever she wants, but it's also a public platform, so people can criticize it however they want. Because if you make that hard line with it's my platform and I can say whatever, then we can't criticize anybody for saying anything on their platforms.
Yeah.
I
We would
definitely
be.
think that there's a balance. There's a balance, and I say this because I am on social media. Like outside of this particular show, I do social media. I have a pretty good following on my IG, and I get these types of comments, and I get people giving their opinions about what I post, and there's a balance. Like, yes, I may be a public figure and I may affect certain people, but on the opposite side of that, if now Cardi's wrong to me if you're getting upset and engaging the BS. Like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
stop.
Of course,
But
she always goes wrong.
from the civilian's perspective, if you're getting upset that somebody is posting about an $88,000 bag, that's a you issue. That's not a Cardi issue. It becomes a Cardi issue when Cardi wants to engage the argument. then you're kind of like, okay, girl, calm down. But I just, I just have a different type of awareness when it comes to social media, because people do come at you for some crazy things. And I think this insensitive word is another one of those trigger words, like that white folks use when they type, I'm concerned. It's one of those trigger words they use for a particular audience. And it's not always about someone being insensitive. Sometimes it's really just that person expressing their life in that moment. But Cardi got enough money, and she definitely got enough time in this conversation. I wanted to bring up something more somber for what's popping. Those of you who are, I guess, is it a cult classic? Maybe like a cult classic fan.
Sure.
But we recently lost a really, really great talent by the name of Natalie Dressel Reed. Most of you may know her from her work on Baps with Miss Holly Berry. One of my favorite lines from that movie is, I don't mind sleeping on this floor because I know it's poodle hair. She played one of the stepsisters in Cinderella, and so I just want to give honor and homage to her. And she lost her battle with colon cancer. No one knew that she had colon cancer, which I don't have a problem with. It's personal business. Nobody should know. But I definitely want to just give honor in this time to a really, really great talent. I had the opportunity years ago to meet her, and she was an incredible human being. So rest in peace, Natalie.
I've been a big fan of hers since Baps. She was one of the funniest people that in the early '90s. A lot of times people were casted and like they were typecasted, and she was a bigger girl. And our topic is about size being mattering. Actually, hold that thought. Someone else answer my food's here.
Right after that amazing segue.
But yeah, so as I was saying, typecasted, she was, not the general image of, I guess, the Hollywood starlet, but she was so funny, such a great light. I think every piece or every movie, whatever I saw her in, I always enjoyed watching her, whether it was Brandy Cinderella, where it was even like This Christmas with Chris Brown. She was, or was it that one? No, it was the Medea one.
She was in the Medea one about the family with the sister and all that.
Amazing actress and just funny, and kind of always gave a look in whatever movie she was in, whether she was like the tired sister with the hair back, no makeup, or you go to with that with her gold to her big hair, like when she was on that
right. Yes, yes, it does.
Kind of cultural.
My favorite role from her is actually Janie from the Eve Show. She was this church going, like freak in the sheets, married, always judging people, and it was like the best role for her to have. I think that she really bodied that. So we definitely lost a legend. So yeah.
No, for sure.
Rest in power.
Yeah, I think when I first heard about it, I wasn't familiar with her name, and then I Googled her, and I was all like, oh, like she's been in so many things.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like, she stands out in every single movie. Like, she was never necessarily like a main character, but she always stood out and was like, what made whatever thing she was in as great as it was. So it's just really tragic, and we've seen a lot of horrible losses this year in entertainment.
Yeah.
So
a lot of young losses too.
Right.
I still can't get over Chadwick Boseman just being so young. And cancer is a very serious thing. So yeah, definitely our hearts and our thoughts go out to, all of the families from people we lost this year.
And speaking about Chadwick, December 18th on Netflix, Ma Rainey's Blues does come out with Viola Davis, and it's one of the last films that he worked on before his passing. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more minutes before we go into our little commercial. But before I do, and this is going to be a real popcorn, we'll get into this probably on a different day. Mariah Carey, Jennifer Hudson, Ariana Grande, Santa Baby. What are our thoughts?
She did. Okay, really quickly. What? So they did a Christmas special. It was Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, and Jennifer Hudson. I am not the biggest Jennifer Hudson fan, but she did amazing. I think that Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande whispering note harmonies or whatever that angelic sound was that they did was absolutely needed for these holidays. It's always been so catty between the two of them, so it was really really nice to see them on stage smiling and looking at each other and harmonizing. It was beautiful. A plus for me. A plus plus plus.
Right.
Mariah is the queen of Christmas. She will always be the queen of Christmas.
So this might come off as really problematic. I didn't like it. I couldn't understand what anyone was saying the entire time, but they said great. What they were saying, who knows?
Right.
But the whistle note at the end, that must have been a first. Two people harmonizing and a whistle note. I was like, okay, y'all better do it.
Right.
Said from the beginning until the end. No. But
well, I haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I have seen though on TikTok. There's these two, I guess they're brothers or whatever, that actually did the whistle tone harmony. That apparently what you talk. And when I tell you slayed for the gods, for the ladies, for the lords, for the children, and the kids. Oh, I said, okay, I'm jealous because I don't have a whistle tone.
You said they were they male?
Yeah.
You said they were guys? I've never heard a guy
those
hit
harmonies,
that note, ever.
They hit those harmonies. Yes, you have. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's not. Come on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
It says Team Mariah. Oh,
Team Mariah. No, I thought it was really good. And like, I also like Ty was super surprised to see them work together. Not surprised at this point because the beef is old, but when it first came out, when Ari first came out, I remember all the comparisons would really get to Mariah's head.
Yeah.
And she would always be like, I don't know her, all like, petty about it. And
now
they're
right.
working together. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of
Ari fans might get a treat because she might get a Netflix special.
Oh,
Ariana. Oh, really? Okay.
She teased on our social media about a Netflix special. I think it's surrounding the tour she did last year. But it apparently talks about Ariana Grande having a Netflix special. So
nice. That'll be exciting.
We'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and go into our first commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about Does Size Matter?
Yes.
Hey guys, Ty here from APLA Health, and I got some good news for you.
APLA Health is launching our first ever at-home HIV testing initiative.
As we battle the global pandemic of COVID-19 and all that it entails,
APLA Health is doing what we can to fill the gaps for those who are in need of knowing their status, linking to care, and having safer sex options.
The initiative, officially known as Swab and Chill, will be our virtual hub for those seeking to take an HIV test, receive HIV kits, link it to medical care for those who are HIV positive, while also having access to several other programs and services that specialize in harm reduction for HIV infection.
Such services include private PEP information, as well as substance abuse services. Our goal with Swab and Chill is to make HIV testing easily accessible and easy to use within the comfort of your own home.
We provide each client with the Aura Quick at-home testing kit. This kit is a simple test that is done by orally swabbing the gums and waiting 20 minutes for your results.
APLA staff is available to virtually assist you while taking the test, while providing resources and support for those who may test positive.
Maybe you already know your status and you're just low on condoms and lube due to accessibility. No problem. We can also send you one of our safer sex kits right to your front door.
As we strive to keep our community safer and well-informed, your privacy is also a high priority.
All packaging will appear from APLA Health. Our over-the-phone assessments are quick, easy, and secure, so you can feel safe in sharing your results with us and asking any questions that you may have.
If you or someone that you know is interested in having one of our at-home testing kits mailed to you, or you just want more information on what Swab and Chill can provide, please call one of our team members at 323-329-9713, or just email us.
Come swab and chill with 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 us.
You better
These
come
new
through with these
graphics are
visuals.
everything. I love it. I love all of it.
Yes.
Mr. Kwame. Good job, Kwame.
We love Pyro Media. Thank you, Kwame and Pyro Media, for those wonderful, wonderful effects. Because I'm sitting here like, look at us. Who do we think
I
we are?
know. Oh my God. You think it will get
Are we
renewed
watching
for
the
season
link or the
2?
reel, honey?
Right.
Hopefully, we get renewed for a season 2.
We're doing a fingers
You know,
crossed.
this is network quality, honey. Network quality.
Okay.
That's all I'm waiting for is this Emmy that we're gonna get. So before we get into today's topic, or today's main topic, I do want to take a moment to segue to Rogelio, because Rogelio has a lot of big things coming up in Trans Connections. So Rogelio, will you tell us what's happening? What can we expect from Trans Connections?
For sure, for sure. So we have a really exciting collaboration coming to Trans Connections. Make sure you're following us on the IG at Trans Connections to get all the latest updates. But basically, we're going to have a makeup seminar hosted by representatives at MAC Cosmetics. That's MAC, MAC Cosmetics.
Okay.
I felt
Not
like I wasn't
MACK?
enunciating well. But,
Not to be confused with MAX, which is the 99-cent store
right,
brand.
Right. But anyway, I'm super excited to work with them. As you can see, I love, makeup. I'm super into makeup. And makeup and beauty in general is something super relevant in the trans community, not only because of the huge mark that we've made on it, the way that trans people have really acted as pioneers historically in makeup, but also because there's a lot of politics that surrounds beauty and makeup. So along with that class that's going to be happening next week at 1:30, make sure to sign up if you're interested. But aside from that, I'm going to be doing weekly videos, either makeup videos or conversations about beauty and the politics of beauty in the community, since it often coincides with a lot of things like passing, with a lot of things like safety. A lot of people say that a lot of it upholds, harmful beauty standards, and it's all complicated in the trans community. So definitely check us out. Check out what we're doing on our Instagram. But yeah, if you're interested in that makeup seminar, it's open. For anybody. We want to specifically target trans people, of course, because it's going to be very targeted with those kinds of tips and tricks. But aside from that, we really want people to participate and take advantage of these amazing MEC representatives we're going to have. So yeah, just make sure to check us out on IG to get the latest updates and call us to sign up. Mm-hmm.
When's the first one going to be?
It's going to be next Monday at 1:30 p.m.
Cool.
So Monday the 14th.
Yes. I'll be there because I want to look pretty. I love.
I was going to say, I want to handle these bags under my eyes.
Right.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
A
little concealer. You know me. I try to circles on my face.
So great. So Rogelio, you made a couple really great comments about beauty. So let's get into today's topic. Does size matter? Especially when we talk about like the queer and gay community. Let's get into it. Oh, look at me. Who do I think I am? Let's get into it. But does size matter? We'll start with the obvious where everyone wants to go because everyone's filthy and I know that. Does dick size matter? Does penis size matter?
No, it does not. No,
yes,
no,
it does.
No. It does not. It absolutely does not.
Not all of us but it's not the end.
Not all of us want to be. Not all of us want to be plunged. Absolutely not. It does not matter. No.
And
no.
My first point.
No.
Matter.
No. Put that hand down. Put that hand down. Put that hand down.
Let's have a civil discussion, everybody.
However, I think size does matter. However, I think that there is this assumption when we ask the question, does size matter? When someone says yes, we automatically assume that they're talking about yes because I want something bigger. And that's not the question. The question is not does big size matter, it's does size period matter. And for me, if we're talking about penis size, yes, it does matter. Because you have some people who can't take large penises. You have some people who prefer large penises. You have some people who just want a medium-sized penis, or who want a shorter penis with more girth, or a longer penis with less girth. So to me, yes, it matters. It matters depending on you, what sexually gets you going, and what your body can take and handle.
So for me, personally speaking, it does not matter. It does not matter because, like you stated earlier, some people prefer bigger, some people prefer smaller, some people are pleasured more with a bigger size penis, some people are pleasured more with more girth. I like the idea of before sex just finding out what what size that person is. So when we pose the question, does size matter? It does not. I don't necessarily need a dick pic to decide whether or not I'm going to have sex with somebody. It's how you use it. It can be 5 inches for all I care. It can be 4 inches. That's less work for me. I'm cool with
14,
either or.
with that.
If it's
I don't want that
14,
to
I'm
breathe.
only. If it's 14,
Yeah,
I'm
yo.
gonna
I'm
I'm a
looking at
dap
it.
it. I'm a
looking at
dap
it.
it, and that's it. I'm a dap it, be like,
And I'm
good
leaving.
job, bro, and that's it. It's
Hold
not
on,
going
Hey,
anywhere near
Why
me.
not?
So what we won't do is we won't shame anyone.
You want a
For
Jack in the
sure.
Box penis moment?
Right.
Oh no, I need no.
So,
So I need
so
some window shops. Send me the preview.
I'm cool with
So
that.
I think a lot of times, especially when we talk about the gay community, because I can only speak for gay men, we equate worth to. Oh, come on! Here's another question. We'll get into that later. We equate worth to penis size, and I think that's a general masculine thing, which is just so. I don't like. It's one of those things. Like, why do I have to tell you how big my penis is in order for you to want to be with me? Like, there's so.
Right? Like for what?
I mean,
For
I'm not.
what?
But if we're talking about the queer community and the LGBTQIA community, it specifically in Black gay culture, there is a lot that happens with kissing contests in regards to size. You know, for tops, it's whose penis is bigger. For bottoms, it's how big of a penis can you take. If you can't take big penis, then oh, you're not a bottom. So I mean, there's a lot of microaggressive things that happen when we talk about the male organ.
I really want Dante out of these comments because Dante is going off. Hopefully, in a cylinder, not a square.
No,
Dante,
but
go sit in
I wanted to talk about the trans community and like this, how it also relates to specifically trans femmes and trans women, because a lot of people on Grindr and a lot of these specific apps that specifically seek trans women often, you know, have these certain expectations because they are only used to seeing trans people in porn or in these super sexualized contexts. And so, you know, for a trans person who, depending on the person, you know, everybody's different, you may or may not be comfortable with your genitalia. And then, you know, a man is, you know, asking all these questions about, oh, are you hung and all these things. It could kind of trigger those negative emotions. And even when you make it clear, a lot of people just assume, oh, trans, they must be, you know, a dom top, you know, ready to pound me out. Oh no, I'm not gonna. But yeah.
I was gonna say, keep going,
right? You know how corny they be.
Direct quote.
But anyway, I think that beyond that though, just like personally me as somebody who does, you know, enjoy a penis every now and then, I don't really have those preferences.
Say it with pride, boo. Say it with pride.
I don't really have those preferences because for me, I feel like sexuality is very complex. So like you can have a small penis, and if you're really like attractive and really cool, then like I don't care how small it is, how it looks like, you know. But you know, big ones are nice. Then you know, I don't mind people. I don't mind people having their preferences.
Though I agree with that statement 100%. It's more about what you do with it and who it's attached to at this stage in my life. When I was younger, yeah, give me a 13, 14, whatever the case may be. Sure, no problem, plunge me. But now that I'm older, it's not. That does not do it for me. And I think that bigger is better is problematic because we have a lot of people who will look at that and look at themselves and be like, I'm not adequate enough. I need to get butt implants. I need to do this. I need to do this. So we're getting to a culture. Remember back in the day, it was all skinny this, skinny that, and that was toxic. So now we're at a place where it's like bigger this, bigger that. And it's like, you can be big and healthy, right? I mean, we're not even talking about size, body size yet, but you can be big and healthy. But when it comes to genitalia, the constant need to have your private parts or private parts that you deal with huge like that is scary to me. And it means that you constantly walk around letting out farts because you don't have any walls. That's how I feel.
So, but my question is to both Rogelio and to Time. When you say the size doesn't matter, the descriptions that you gave to me speaks not necessarily to the actual size, but to the stigma surrounding it. Like for me, no, I do not want a 13-inch penis. If I see when I'm running, and I cares no ways about that. I cares no ways about that. But sexually, I can't do small penises, like short or ungirthy, because skinny penises hurt. It's like being stabbed with a pencil, and I can't do it.
They do. Or I feel like I'm gonna break
So
it.
for me, when I say does size matter, I really am talking about the literal size. Now the stigma
I think that we were
surrounding that.
discussing it. We were discussing the literal size as well.
So,
I think that go ahead. Sorry.
As someone who's versed, who has both top and who bottoms, I do a little. I know I do it all. This is what I'll say for.
God bless you.
Because I think people also need to be realistic too. It's like you're saying, "Oh, I want it big," but then you're trying to date someone who's 5'6", and let's be realistic. If someone who's 5'6" isn't going to give you that 10 and a half. I mean, they could. They really could.
I mean, wait a minute, because that's where the height is.
Also put into play that people that want those sizes too very often don't know what to do with that size. They don't know how to properly prepare themselves, and they don't know how to properly pleasure the person. They're just more so concerned at the fact that I conquered this big dick. Let's talk to him and see if you conquered that.
But that could also be the pressure, the peer pressure of, feeling like if I can't take it or if I don't take it, then I'm not a real bottom in that moment.
So this is what I always tell people when something like that comes up. When we just look at physical anatomy for someone who has a vagina or someone who's doing anal sex, it's only so big. It's no more than 6 inches. So anything larger than that requires some kind of body dynamics that it is. If it hurts you, if it's something's too big, that is kind of how your body's set up. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't go bigger and you can't go further and go in deeper. Like, we all know that. But especially for people who have vaginas, you only have feeling in the first 1/3. After about 1/3 of vagina depth, there's really not much feeling in there. So at that point, does size really matter? And then for people who are having anal sex, it's going to be painful. Like, let's be honest.
Well, Eric Smith said that there's a lot of 5'6" out there, and they big. So I guess technically you don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know.
No, I
like the surprise.
That
I don't
think there's anything wrong with preferences. Like, if you want a bigger penis, or if you have if something is too small for you, and that's just something that you personally don't want, then there's no shame in that. I think that there's just a problem in shaming other people and being like, that's nasty, or oh, that's gross, or if I saw that I wouldn't know what to do with it, because it's like, it sucks, but at the end of the day, these are things that people can't control at the end of the day. So it's like, we shouldn't shame anybody for how they are.
Well, I think we really need to define the difference between preference and prejudice, because a preference is completely different than a prejudice. A preference is, if I have two things in front of me, I prefer one over the other. That means the one that I prefer, I'm going to take. But if the one I really want is not there, I will take the thing I don't necessarily prefer. Having a prejudice is I don't want it at all. And so we have a lot of people out there when we talk about size and when we talk about a lot of things in the queer community, where people are like, oh, that's my preference. No, if you wouldn't take it at all, it's not a preference, it's a prejudice. People just need to own up.
So Dante posed a question and said, but is size a deal breaker? I think that's a very important question. I think for me, it's not. Like I said, I like to be surprised. Once you pull it off, it smacks me in the face, it's great. If it doesn't smack me in the face, we can still do something with it. Like, I'm not really one of those type of people that are, and granted, my online presence gives off way more than that, but I get so often people sliding in my DMs like, oh, it's 12, it's 13. That's nice. I mean, once you've seen it, I have a dick. Once you see a dick, I don't even see a dick. Like, I'm good with that. But that's just where I'm at in my life. Like, it's not something to me to conquer if I'm sitting on a Godzilla dick. I'm just not willing to do that.
Okay, so I want to shift the conversation a little bit from penis now to body, because that's a that we talk about. Penis size. It's also body size. For me, I can speak on myself. I'm a little person. I'm thin. I've always been thin. I think I might always be thin, no matter how hard I know. So the conversation has always been, people think like, oh, whatever, you have that privilege. And I do, because my body type is definitely one that a lot more people have. Like, let's be honest, I'm a twink. And, a lot of people, they love a little twink and they can get one. So I sexualize that way. But for me, when I talk about body size, I've literally dated every kind of size out there. And what I prefer is I like a little bit more of a me. I like to hug someone that has, I don't want to hug bone. I guess that's for me, but that's my own personal. Right. That's my preference.
I like bigger men. I like body mass. I need to see that you eating. Like, if I don't feel that, then that's my preference. I prefer someone that is my size or bigger. Anybody smaller, I feel like I'd break.
I definitely think that there are layers to this that we have to get into, though, because I think that it's also a big frustration. I follow a lot of because before I used to identify as some sort of a bear chub, so like I used to follow a lot of other people who talked about those kinds of issues. And we also get into the issues of like, oh, well, people say, oh, I like big men, but usually they're talking about like very muscular men or big men who you like have builds, in certain areas that have, maybe really big arms, but a ball belly and not necessarily a flabby belly.
Let me clarify then. I like big men in general. It doesn't matter whether or not they're beefy, muscular.
That wasn't targeted.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't targeted at all. I was just saying that it's also a conversation that happens within bigger people, and just like having been navigating that community and being bigger before, I definitely noticed a difference just because, you can always find people who are interested in you, but especially like having been in college, it was always like very socially isolating for me to be like in a space with other gay men, because it was very much like you could see them scanning the room to talk to somebody else while they were in the middle of having a conversation with you. And granted, I was at a place that was, very different, very, highfalutin, and a lot of upper middle class people, a lot of rich people, a lot of white people. So that also paints the experience. But yeah.
My answer is going to stay the same for me. Does body size matter? Yes, it does. For me, because I am, hefty. I'm 5'10", I'm over 200 pounds, and she's fat, okay? And so I just feel like my preference, I have dated all kinds of body shapes. My preference is definitely a man that has some stockiness, some type of weight and body mass on them. Because I'm not trying to hug you and run around and hug myself. That's just me. However, I do think, to Rogelio's point, that the question is very layered, and it's very layered specifically for those of us who are feminine presenting and are bigger. Because when you think about weight, whether it's or when you think about weight, being this way versus this way,
that was cute, actually, that you did that.
It's always associated to a masculine trait. We look at these men and we want them to be masculine. We want them to be the daddies, and the bears. But when you have someone who's feminine, who is, over a certain weight class, there's this expectation of what should happen. I know for me, my personal experience is that because I'm feminine and because I'm stocky and tall, there's always this need for a lot of men to over feminize me, almost pushing me into like a trans box. And it's like, well, I'm not trans and I'm not a woman at the end of the day. Like, I don't identify as a woman. Yes, I'm feminine. Yes, I'm stocky, but don't try to change the look of my body, put me in cinchers and panties and bras because you have a personal issue with how I look and how I present. And so I definitely think that when we talk about body size, I think that women have come a much longer way in body positivity than men have. But I also feel like when we do deal with cisgender men or our non-binary siblings or transmasculine individuals, that conversation isn't always talked about. Like when we think body shaming, 9 times out of 10, people think cisgender women. They think about the models and the magazines. Like we don't really have that conversation on the other side.
Right.
I think that Dante posed a good question that says plus size stem versus plus size mask. I don't care if you film a mask as long as you like to eat, because I like to eat. So as long as you like
Ty,
to eat,
I'm so glad that
Ty's
you were
just
on your
making
computer
clear.
because I don't be seeing these comments.
You said what?
Ty's just
I'm
making
so glad
clear
you
for
on your
everybody out there.
computer because I don't see these comments. I only see them
The
when
comments are great. They're great. They are great. When you go back and watch the show, you're gonna be like, these comments are great. But it's true. I agree with you, Daniel. And then sometimes it becomes a sexualized fetish. You know what I mean? Where
Very
it's like,
so.
I wouldn't want to be seen in public with someone who's on a plus size, but sex wise is cool. Like I had a conversation with a group of young men before, and we were talking about plus size women, and one of the gentlemen said, I watch plus size women porn, but you ain't never gonna catch me outside with one. And that's so problematic. And I think that in the gay community, the LGBTQ community, we do that. Like that happens very often where it's like, someone who is on a plus size will get the shorter end of the stick than someone who's one of the muscle boys or, the circuit boys that are out there with their shirts off, spinning their t-shirts around and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with what you said. I
think there are also conversations further about how, like, in the queer community, there are a lot of people who don't even have fat friends, who are just like very superficial in that way. And even me personally, having been through it,
like your social media, like if all your friends look like you, I'm
not interested.
And I've been one of those people where, like, I've been friends. I'm typically friends with a lot of different people, a lot of people stratified on the, popularity scale or however you want to put it. And so, like, I notice when I have certain friends that, like, they're cool with me, they talk with me, they're cool to chill, but, they would never post me on their Instagram. They never ask me to pose in the picture when they're, taking a group picture. They never invite me out to certain spaces where, they would lose social capital by being around somebody who's, a fat person. So I think that there's also, like I said, like going back to the other argument and mid layers to this, because like, there's a difference between a big, in the case of, Shaquille O'Neal, who's like big and athletic and muscular, but, still very big, versus somebody who like, has flabby rolls and, things like that. And also people who are thick versus not, because, me being someone bigger, people are always like, let me see that ass. And I'm just like, well, you might be a little disappointed because I don't necessarily build my fat there does all the time. It kind of goes to the belly, and hopefully that'll change with these hormones, but we'll see. But but anyway, like I think that there's a bigger conversation about how we treat big people and how that bleeds into the gay community or the queer community, the queer and trans community, because it tends to be so focused on image.
Yeah.
Since that you mentioned Shaquille, go ahead, Kai.
Well, I was just saying, because it's time for us to take another break, so I was gonna do a little pause. I know this is
do a part 2 to this.
I was like, sorry. This is gonna be another conversation. I've decided right now, and I'm sure everyone else agrees that this is gonna be like a full-on, like real.
We could have split it in two, honestly.
Yeah, we'll be back on this conversation. I promise everyone. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with a new little segment that I'm going to be doing today called What You Do Is. So we'll see you guys.
Hey, I'm Novan. Welcome to Him Around Town. I'm a him. What if someone told you that you could take a daily pill to almost eliminate your chances of getting HIV? What if I told you that there is already a pill that does that? Now here's the real tea. Did you know that most insurances cover the cost with a small to no copay? Don't have insurance? That's okay. Here at APLA Health, we can help you find a program that will cover your costs. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, also called PrEP, is a once-a-day pill that does that very thing. Now, it doesn't mean that you are protected from other STIs, but hey, we get it. Sometimes things happen and we forget a condom, or one breaks. With PrEP, at least you know that you are protected from HIV. Now, let me be very, very real with you. Some people have mild side effects, but those usually disappear after 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, now say you feel like you have been exposed to HIV from unprotected sex, needle sharing, or sexual assault. Did you know that if you take a medication within 72 hours of contact, your chances of contracting HIV would dramatically drop to almost 0? What surprise? There is a pill for that. It's also called post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP. With PEP taken once a day or twice a day for 28 days, it will help dramatically reduce your risk of getting HIV. However, like I said before, it must be within 72 hours of exposure. The sooner, the better. Just like PrEP, most insurances will cover the cost of PEP, and if not, here at APLA Health, you will find another way for your treatment to get paid. Now let's get very, very, very real, you guys. A simple pill once a day can drop your chances of contracting HIV. It's like taking a vitamin, brushing your teeth, or something we hope that you do every day. There are even apps to remind you to take it. So if you have any questions for Healthy Him, give us a call right here. We'll be happy to hear from you.
And we are back once again. That was Novan, one of our Healthy Him ambassadors, who we miss dearly. But as Novan mentioned, if you are interested in Prep for Pep services, we got you here at APLA Health. So definitely call the numbers that is scrolling down below, or even visit that website too. But now let's get into a new segment. This is something that we'll be trying. Thank you, Dante. Also check out www.the-link.la as well. That's our website. So get all your prep services there. But today is a new segment that we're going to be calling What You Do Is. This is us wanting to teach the world something. For me, this kind of goes based off of last week's discussion because, we were talking about like holidays and Thanksgiving things. So I wanted to teach everybody how to make a compote. And now before you get weird about it, it's so good. So basically a compote is like a jelly or a jam that you can make. It's super easy, super fast. And I did it this weekend and I just felt like I had to share it to the world because I was really, really proud of myself. So you can make on your stove. So all you need, these are the things that you'll need, is you'll need like a saucepan or a sauce pot, just a little small one. Any kind of fruit that you want. So any kind of fruit. So strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, whatever. I did a blueberry raspberry. It was great. Then you'll need lemon, and I'll explain why you'll need lemon. And then you can add in sugar or kind of extra fun things. But all you do is you put your berries or your fruit. So every cup of fruit that you have, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, lime juice, or any kind of citrus juice. Orange juice works really well, but it has to be fresh oranges. So keep that in mind. You put that on the stove, just throw all of that together on the stove and you let it boil. Once it boils, you kind of mash it up. And then you let it sit for about 15-20 minutes on the heat. So you're going to start with it on medium heat until it boils. Then you turn it down to like, if you have numbers on your stove, I turned it down to like 2.5, and you keep it there for about 15-20 minutes and it like solidifies. It's not like jelly or jam. It's like a in between thing. But especially with the holidays, we talk about things that like taste good or remind us of holiday seasons. This is, ooh, come on, a nice little blueberry compote with French toast. That's my point right there. I had it on toast. I had it on pound cake. I ate it just with a spoon. And it's so much healthier than a lot of these jelly or jams we make because you can control the sugar. Also, you can add things like honey or molasses as alternatives for that. I can't eat honey or molasses because apparently it messes up my stomach. But that's a whole different story. But it's definitely something that I encourage all to do. I think what I'm going to do is put the recipe I used on, how weird. I'm going to put it on the social media so you can see my little recipe guide if you want to. It's super good. It's super tart. And it's just fun for the holidays to do. Because just think, you're waking up one morning, you got your cup of coffee, you got your toast and some compote, or your French toast and compote. Look, that's my white girl fantasy, but that's just me. But yeah, what you do is for the day.
Can you put compote on a person?
I mean, sure, go for it.
Okay, because you said toast. I was thinking boy, but okay, man.
Look, it's great. I encourage everyone to make a compote. It takes no time and it's really, really hard to mess up. And you can go online to find different recipes too. So I think my next one's going to be a guava compote because I have a guava tree. And then I get to use a lemon from my lemon tree. I'm a planter. I like plants, everyone. So these are big deals for me.
I can't wait until COVID is done so we can go visit Farm Kai.
Look. But yeah, so that's what I have for the week. So, and when they break up, oh, look, Dante, don't come out for me.
We will talk about compote allergies before I put it on them, Dante. You know, I'm very efficient when it comes to that. I ask all the questions.
But before we go today, I want to just have everyone just say one thing about our main topic today that you want to leave everyone with, because we are running out of time. So if you could give someone one takeaway from does size matter or is size important or how do you classify that, what would you say? We'll do, since Rogelio came with face today, Rogelio, you can go first.
Okay, fine. So I just want to say that, you know, regarding our entire conversation today, having preferences is fine. If you prefer one thing over the other, nobody, and especially me as a bigger person who is trans, wants you to hold your nose, pinch your nose while you're with us in order to get woke points or to seem progressive in some sort of way. If you're not into something, just don't go for it. But I think it's important for us to analyze our preferences and what inspires them, and also how harmful they could be, and why we in the queer and trans community, as a community that's more open, should probably have these conversations about how we tear these constructs down, as much as we talk about tearing down the constructs of sexuality and gender as well.
Yes.
Oh, nice. I will go next. Look at that. So yes, I'll be very brief. My last parting words about this is yes, fat, yes, slim, yes, short, yes, tall, yes, lazy eye. Definitely get out of your own mind, get out of your own shallowness, and try something different. Be open to people and their personalities. And like Rogelio said, if you feel like you are holding your nose and doing all this extra sugar, honey, iced tea to be with somebody to prove a point, it's not worth it. If you are going to be preference, or your preference is you want a specific type of person, stick with that, but don't demean anybody's body type in the process. So that's all I have to say.
Does size matter? Absolutely. It matters to you. My thought is that people really need to get a dictionary and really understand what a preference is versus what a prejudice is. And just because you might want a particular somebody, you should never shame somebody else who is not that. But go get what works for you. And if you can't get that, then the problem is you.
Come on, the problem is you. So yeah, I'll close it out for today. So I'm just gonna echo what everyone says. Does size matter? Sure. It's your sex life, it's your whoever you're interacting with, but don't hold your nose, like Rogelio, Ty, and Daniel are saying. Also, if you're not attracted to someone, don't shame them for that, right? I think a lot of times we see people try to put other people down because you think you're better than they are. Don't do that. It's 2020. We have so many other things to do. Be a decent human being. If someone hits on you and they might not be your preference, or someone you're attracted to, just be nice and say thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. However, I'm just not interested. Leave it at that. Don't go on these huge tangents about why you're better than someone, or why you wouldn't date someone, or why someone's penis isn't big enough or small enough. That's so extra, and you're going out of your way to be mean. And that's ugly. That's just ugly. So yeah, that's what I think.
I like how you say ugly, Kai. It's amazing.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, especially everyone who was commenting. You were keeping us going and laughing, and we appreciate you. Thank you all for being here. My wonderful team. I love you all. I can't wait to do this with you again.
Part two. We need a part two.
Definitely part two coming up. Probably will be in the new year. And don't forget, check out Trans Connection's social media so that you can see their makeup Mondays. This Monday, the 14th, they have MAC Cosmetics. And also, quick plug for APLA Health. If you are a Black person who does not have health insurance but wants to get free therapy sessions, reach out to us and we'll get you in contact with one of our therapists who will be able to help you with that. So until next week, everyone have a wonderful, safe week. Stay at home, wear your mask, be a good person. That's it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.